Good morning, students. Chapter 3 Private, Public, and Global Enterprises. Students, as you know, in previous chapter, we have studied various forms of business organizations working under private sector. In this chapter, we will discuss the role, forms, advantages, and disadvantages of public sector enterprises. Indian economy is a mixed economy as it consists of both privately owned and government owned business enterprises. So the economy may be divided into two sectors, that is private sector and public sector. First is private sector enterprises. Private sector enterprises are the enterprises which are owned, controlled and managed by private businessmen. The main object of such undertaking is profit making. The various types of private sector enterprises are sole proprietorship, Hindu undivided family business, partnership, cooperative societies and joint stock companies. We have already discussed in chapter number 2 these forms. Second is public sector enterprises. These are the enterprises which are owned and managed by central government or state government or by both. They may also be a part of ministry or come into existence by a special act of parliament. Public sector enterprises are established by the government to participate in the economic activities of the country. The basic purpose is to render service to society. For example, railways, LIC, FCI, post offices, etc. So now what are the forms of public sector enterprises? There are three forms of public sector enterprises. First is departmental undertakings, second public corporations and third is government companies. So today we will discuss in detail about departmental undertakings. What are departmental undertakings? This is the oldest and most traditional form of organizing public sector enterprises. These undertakings are created by the government and financed and controlled by also the government. These are managed by government officials and under the control of a minister. The government functions through these departments and the activities performed by them are an integral part of the functioning of the government. For example, All India Radio, Doordarshan, Post and Telegraph and Indian Railway. Now, what are the features of departmental undertakings? First, funding. These undertakings are financed directly from the government treasury. Any revenue earned by these undertakings belong to the government and is paid into the treasury of government. Second, audit and control. These undertakings are subject to accounting and audit control as applicable to other government activities. Third is employees. As the undertaking does not have any separate legal existence, its employees are government employees and terms and conditions of their appointment, remuneration, promotion, etc. are determined by the government. Fourth is control. It is managed and controlled by the government department and is subject to direct control of the ministry. Fifth, accountability. The employees of the enterprises are accountable to the concerned minister who is ultimately responsible to the parliament. So these are the features of the departmental undertakings. These are funding, audit and control, employees, control and accountability. Now what are the merits of departmental undertakings? First is control of parliament. As I told you that it is completely owned and managed by a government ministry. It facilitates the parliament to exercise effective control over their operations. Second, public accountability. All the departmental undertakings are accountable to parliament for their performances. So, they have to be careful about their progress and performance. Third, source of revenue to government. Income earned by these organizations directly goes to the treasury. So these undertakings helps to increase the government revenue. Fourth, national security. The activities performance of the departmental undertakings can be highly secret, as government can avoid disclosure on the plea of the public interest. Secrecy can be maintained, especially in the case of strategic industries such as defense, etc. So these are the merits of the departmental undertakings. Now we will discuss the limitations, or you can say demerits of the departmental undertakings. First is lack of flexibility. The government undertakings work under strict parliamentary control. There is too much interference of ministers and top officials. It is treated as one of the government offices. This reduces the flexibility and efficiency of the undertaking. Second, delay in decisions. As approval from the government is necessary to take decisions, this leads to delay in matters where prompt decisions are required. Third, unable to tap business opportunities. Departmental undertakings are unable to take benefits of business opportunities because conservative approach of bureaucrats does not allow them to take risky ventures. Next is red tapeism bureaucracy. What is the meaning of red tapeism bureaucracy? It refers to delay in decisions due to too many formalities. The decisions in departmental undertakings are delayed due to administrative formalities, paperwork, procedures, etc. Political interference. There is lot of political interference through the ministry. And last is consumer needs. They usually do not give any consideration for consumer needs and do not provide adequate services to them. So these are the limitations of the departmental undertakings. So now your topic of departmental undertakings is complete. This is all for today. Thank you.